Hello guys, I hope you all are well. Today's video guys is for Diablo 4 systems and features, baby. System and features. I just watched a panel show from Blizzcon and I've got a ton of info guys. So much info about Diablo 4, man. Chock-a-block, chock-a-block. Right, let's get through it then. Okay guys, so for classes, there's certain things that classes can do. Okay, so the Sorceress, when you use chill spells, so basically freeze magic, cold magic, stuff like that, you basically get chill stacks onto a target. The more chill you apply, eventually that target will be moving slower and slower and slower, and eventually just completely freeze on screen, and then you can shatter them and kill the monster. Very, very cool mechanic. The Barbarian gets the Arsenal mechanic, okay, where they can basically have 4 weapons, okay? You can have like great swords on your back, dual wield, stuff like that, and that means that they have the most items of one character as from a class, okay? So they have access to loads of legendary powers. So Barb's Man is going to be absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome. Druids, guys, druids. With druids, as you shapeshift into different forms, you activate different bonuses on your skill tree. Okay, so you might get more armor, more speed, more damage, things like that. So it's very, very cool. Cooldown, things like that. So every class has its own special ability that can do certain things. It's very, very cool. Talking of skill points, guys. Next section is skill points. Every time you level up, you get a skill point. Maximum skill points you can put in a skill currently is 5, subject to change. And as you rank up those skills, it unlocks further down the tree. Okay. Also, you can get additional skill points from finding skill point tomes in the world as well. So get hunting, guys. What are they going to be? They're going to be like a dungeon boss reward, maybe? Who knows, man? Who knows? So cool. Up next, guys, on the panel, they talked about the open world of Diablo. For those that know, basically Diablo 4 is an open world hack-and-slash RPG. Very, very cool. Okay, so there is basically dungeons. Okay, all dungeons are completely randomized, which is amazing. Got a bit more detail about that a bit later in the video. So in the open world, guys, all dungeons are private. Okay, so if you go into a dungeon, you're not going to get PvP. It's an instance for just you and whoever's in your party currently. Okay. Also, while you're doing the campaign as well, by yourself or in your current group, that is also private until it's completed. Once you complete the campaign, then you can start seeing other players, and there might be PvP instances. Remember though, you can always play with PvP off in the game. Okay, you just go to private mode, you don't have to worry about PvP. So I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. Okay guys, so with the PvP mode, there will be certain areas that will be more populated by players. And some areas that will be much less PvP, or less chance to see players in that zone, okay? So towns, things like that, you obviously see more people. World events, you'll see more people, so, you know, there'll be certain areas where it'll be more populated, you know? There, guys, also will be towns as well, as to get quests. In towns, you can also group with other players to hopefully do a well boss, or a really hard dungeon that you're maybe a bit too low for, etc, etc. Very, very cool, man. Finally, we're getting a bit more social aspect back into Diablo, which I missed a lot. Okay, guys, confirmed, man, is clans. There will be clans in Diablo 4, and the clans will have in-game voice chat. Okay, in-game voice chat, and it's also in-game voice chat is enabled for general party use as well, which is very, very cool. So finally, we can talk to each other, not just by text at the time. So if you want to do voice chat, you can do so. And of course, you can turn that off if you don't want to listen to people screaming in your ear or whatever, okay? Which is very, very cool. Okay, for those on console, when it comes out on console, guys, console will have 2-player co-op, okay? So you can both sit there in front of that TV, baby, on that couch and play co-op together, which is very, very cool on one system. Very, very cool. Also, guys, clans will have a bank, okay? You will have a trading bank in your clan, okay, which is very, very cool. So if you're someone that likes to run around and share the love, then you can go find some cool loot that is tradable. Not all items are tradable. We'll go over that in a bit. And excuse me, I'm losing my voice. So yeah, the clan bank, you can share loot with your friends, which is very, very cool. Also, guys, there will be random mats that you can find in the world as well. There's random mats you can find in the world as well, which is very, very cool. So they didn't go into any like specifics exactly what the mats are, but it'd probably be stuff like ore, wood, general sort of crafting materials, okay? Which is very, very cool. Very, very nice, man. There's so much content. I've got so much content. This is so weird to have so much content for Diablo. It's so great. Okay, guys, up next on the panel, they talked about dungeons, okay? Very, very cool. Okay, so look. So in dungeons, okay, all dungeons are completely randomized. Every time you go into a dungeon, it's different every time. You know, everything. It could be it's always going to be very dark and gory. There's no more cartoon graphics in Diablo 4. It's all going to be very macabre and gothic and dark. And it's going to have proper light sourcing, very, very same to Diablo 2 as well. So you go inside, you've got your little light source around your character, and you're going to go through, and all with those dark, creepy corners and all that. It's very, very cool. Also, guys, dungeons are just not underground. You can also have outside dungeons as well, okay? So you can have a dungeon that's in say, a woods, for instance, or something like that, or a marsh or a bog as well, which is very, very cool. All dungeons will have zero loading. There's no loading in the dungeons at all. It's all seamless gameplay. No more going to one zone, wait for the game to load, going to the next zone, blah, blah, blah. It's all seamless all the way through it, which is very, very sweet. In dungeons, there is random events. Okay, so you can go to a dungeon, then an altar might spawn up in the area, spawning monsters, you've got to kill it off, and you get reward. Right, so there'd be different random events happening while you're in these basic dungeons. Very, very cool. Also, in dungeons, there's something called objectives as well. So basically, you go into a dungeon, there might be a task to maybe kill this fallen boss over here, and you get rewarded for killing him. How cool is that, man? So, random dungeons, man. There's going to be some very, very cool stuff to do. And that's just not everything there as well. We also got end-game dungeons, okay? There is end-game dungeons as well that require a dungeon key. Dungeon keys opened the end-game content dungeons, okay? And basically, they have an affix on the key. It could make the monsters a lot stronger, could give them lightning effects, all sorts of really crazy stuff. Keys that have levels as well, and you can also salvage keys for materials apparently, and they didn't say what materials we can have once we do salvage keys. But the higher the key level, the more loot you will get for doing the in-game dungeon. Okay, but apparently they're going to get very, very hard, so it's not going to be something we can just walk through straight away. You know, it's going to be a difficult challenge, so make sure you bring a party, and it's going to be so much fun, guys. I can't wait to try this out. Okay, one thing they talked about as well was monsters and monster families. So, what they've done is, when you encounter a group of monsters now, and Diablo 4 was kind of like a weird, Diablo 3, sorry, it was like a kind of a weird mix. You might have a couple of fallen shamans, you know, goatmen, and tomb guys, or whatever. On this, they've done something called monster families, okay? So, for instance, you have a monster family of the fallen. There's the fallen shaman, the fallen grunts, things like that. So there will be different types of family of that particular type of monster, and they have their special attacks and things like that, which is very, very cool. Very, very cool. Same like for skeletons. It's like they talked about the skeletons. There'll be skeleton warriors that charge forward with sword and shields. Some might have bows. There might be a summoner one at the back. There's even one guy that can turn himself into a load of undead that turns into like a ballista. That's massive. And it will shoot you for like 2-3 off screens off from and hit you currently all the time. So they're really changing up the mob type and variations and tactics, what they do to try to kill you. So it's very, very cool. Also, elites will have some different affixes as well. So elite mobs, like we've seen in Diablo 3. They talked about an affix called multi-shot. So say you saw, I don't know, a fallen shaman. They talk about if the fallen shaman had multi-shot, it could maybe shoot 3 fireballs at you, or resurrect 3 monsters at the same time, rather than resurrecting one fallen grunt off the floor. So that way it changes the dynamic of the game and makes it a lot harder. Like for instance, like the skeleton ballista we talked about, if that had multi-shot, it'd be shooting you really, really fast from off screen if it's an elite version. So you might want to deal with that guy first, then come back. So, you know, they're changing up the way monsters fight, basically. And you have to take a decision whether to, like, tank these guys here and dodge all those nasty effects coming at you, or just go deeper into the dungeon, find that nasty ballista, destroy it, and then deal with the rest of the mobs. So it's going to be a different dynamic that we're used to, rather than just going in Diablo 3, just smashing the whole screen immediately. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. That's quite cool. And the graphics look absolutely amazing, by the way. Okay, guys, with the players as well, you get player evade. But basically, we have a dodge key, which is very similar to what other people on console have at the moment. And also on Diablo Immortal, I believe there's a dodge thing as well. And also, you can have something called an unstoppable CC immunity ability as well. So if you have an unstoppable affix on your character from a skill, you can pop that to make sure you can't be snared or jailed by an enemy monster, and just get in there and smash his face. Okay, so you've got evade and an unstoppable ability, so you've got no CC. You'll be CC immune basically. Okay, guys, so for bosses, so we're talking about the family of monsters, they like the skeletons and things like that. For instance, there's a boss version of every monster family. And one of the ones, and it looks amazing, you look at the gameplay trailer, it's very, very cool. There's one there called the Tomb Lord. It's a ginormous skeleton, it's got a massive staff, it does crazy damage and all that. So you've got different massive bosses for each monster family, which is very, very cool. And those bosses will drop fat loot. Apparently they're the dudes that will drop the better loot in the game. Okay, we'll talk about loot a bit later. There's some changes for that as well. And guys, the next bosses we've got is world bosses. World bosses are basically on the main map of the game. It's basically like a public event where every player in the zone can come fight that one ginormous world boss. And it can support up to 100 players fighting one world boss, which is insane. The current party size, basic, is 4. Okay, you can have 4 in a party. But then you can get multiple parties going to a world boss to fight this big dude, which is very, very cool. Personally, I think 4 in a team is a bit too small for me, personally. I would like to see 6. Yeah, 6 to 8 in a party of adventurers. But it is very, very cool that we can get multiple people from Sanctuary into one place and tackle down a massive world boss. And the first ever one is called Shava, and he's absolutely huge. He's got these massive bone claws. You must have seen the trailer for him now in the gameplay. And yeah, they're massive, and they drop some really, really good loot. With the massive world bosses, there's something called the stagger system. So if you've got control a CC effect on your character, like a stun, a freeze, something like that, it won't just stun and freeze the boss straight away. There's a separate bar that is underneath his health bar that will go up. When it reaches the top, you can basically debuff the boss. Now with Shava, you probably saw the gameplay trailer for it, but you can actually smash one of his arms off. You can actually smash 4 of his massive bone claws that dig into the ground. It's like one of his main attacks that swipe into you and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, if you CC Snagger, spam a boss, you can actually basically rip its limbs off and stuff. Debuff it in a way that makes the boss fight easier. So it's very, very cool. So rather than just everyone going full out on DPS, it might be more tactical to stagger that boss by using CC effects. Maybe snap its arms and legs off, and then finish it off and make the boss fight much, much easier. Very, very cool. Love that mechanic. Okay, guys, there is a lot of items in the game. They are putting an absolute ton of legendary items in the game. I found out exactly what a fix is and all that sort of stuff. There's going to be quite a few different types. We're going to have our usual normal white items, blue magic, yellow rare, legendary, ancient legendary, and mythic items. And also there will be set and ancient sets as well. Mythic, though, is their very tippity top. Mythic is not a mythic set item, by the way. It's a standalone. It's basically primal. Best way. It's like Diablo 3 primals, basically. And yeah, they're going to have a hell of a lot of affixes. So a mythic item, I believe, has 4 affixes that can change the way you play the game for your character. So there are different skills on it, durations. It's going to be very, very tricky to get the 4 skills for your build that you want, okay? And you can't trade those items. Mythics are not tradable by the looks of it either. So, yeah, we're going to have some very, very good time for farming. It's the usual sort of stuff, guys. Magic, you get an extra affix on that item. And ancient, highest main stat, usual sort of stuff, man. But there's going to be a lot of skills attached to legendary gear, so we can really change it up. And it's not going to be too OP either, by the looks of it. It's not going to be like percent damages and all that. It's more like flat out damage bonus, like this item would do like an extra 100 lightning damage, things like that. No more like this does 50% more lightning damage, things like that. They've toned it down a bit, and I like that. I think they've done that because basically PvP. Okay, we'll go over that in a bit. So yeah, normal, magic, rare, legendary, ancient legendary, mythic, set, and ancient sets. Also, guys, the way they're designing the game as well now is that they don't want sets to be the end game gear. Okay? Legendary gear will be your end game gear. Okay, sets will still be powerful, but they won't be no as good as your character wearing a full set of legendaries, because you can get so many different effects and abilities and sort of thing. So, I like that change. I really do like that change a lot. Okay, so, yeah, the mythic items will have 4 mods on them. 4 mods. My god. Go get that mythic gear. Okay. Up next, guys, is rune words. Okay, so for those that don't know, rune words are coming back in Diablo 4. There's 3 types. There's 2 currently made at the moment. One is a condition rune, one's an effect rune, and eventually they want to add one called a progression rune, if I've read this correctly. So yeah, there's going to be a ton of rune effects. I basically spell out a word of power. They have all these different stats and empower your character with skills, cooldown, things like that, and make you just be, so you slot them into your armor, just like Diablo 2. Very, very cool. Okay, guys, so the last part of the panel show was the Q&A from the Diablo community. So let's read some of these out here. Someone asked, what is the monetization of Diablo 4? Okay, so the way it's going to be is the usual way what Blizzard does. Basically, it's not going to be free to play. You will buy the base game. No price as of yet. And then in the future, there will be expansion packs. I believe there also will be MTX, so you can buy skins for your character. That is subject to change, I believe, though, too, as well. And they are they said very, very clearly, there will be no pay-to-win in Diablo 4, okay? There will be no pay-to-win in Diablo 4, which is fantastic, because I hate that pay-to-win crap. I don't like it. So yeah, base game you have to buy, expansions we could buy, and there probably will be, looks like, will be an MTX shop, so we could buy skins, wings, character look, all that sort of stuff, man. Very, very cool. Okay, guys, next question was, will there be a offline mode in Diablo 4? There will not be an offline Diablo mode, currently planned in Diablo 4, so there won't be no offline modes, but there will be a solo mode, okay? There will be a solo mode, so if you don't want to be ganked in PvP and all that, you can play in solo mode and don't have to worry about getting ganked exploring the world of Sanctuary on that huge map. The map is absolutely massive, by the way, it's huge. Okay, guys, so trading. Okay, next question was about trading. Let's have a quick look here, man. So, certain items, they didn't specify which ones, but certain items will have completely open trade. So, it'll probably be the more common stuff, you know? It'll probably be like yellows, blues, whites, stuff like that will be completely open trade. You can say you can give it to your power, then he can give it to the other person, etc., etc. There will be certain items that are only one trade items. So, say you found, I don't know, it'll probably be some sort of legendary or ancient legendary, I would assume. But like I said, there's no specifics yet, or once I find out, I'll let you know. But there will be one trade items where, yeah, basically you find, say, this really cool sword, you used it for a couple of weeks, you find an upgrade, and you go, oh, John, do you want this sword, bro? He's like, yeah, man, give me that sword. And he goes, bang, and he picks it up, and it's now bound to his character. He cannot further trade that item. Okay? But the very, very toppity top gear in the game, you have to find by yourself, okay? You can't get it from trade, and I believe that is basically the mythic gear. I believe the top mythic gear is non-tradable, and you've got to find it. You've got to find it for yourself, and boom, it's yours forever, but you cannot trade that item. Lovely. Okay, guys, they touched a little bit on PvP. They didn't talk about the reward of PvP or anything like that. But PvP at the moment won't have separate PvP gear. Okay, so they're aiming to use the current gear we've got in the game to do PvE and PvP. And I believe that's why we're not seeing no % increases on damage on gear or things like that. So that's a good change, I think, personally. But they did touch that some skills will be better for PvE than PvP, sort of thing. So, you know, it's up to you how you build your character on this, you know, because it's all through gear, rune words, stuff like that. So it's very, very cool. So, you know, you might want to balance your character out for PvP or PvE, or maybe a mixture of both, bring it down the middle. So it's up to you how you want to build your character if you're into PvP. I'm sure a lot of you out there are. But the reward for PvP, they didn't say anything about that. Do you get their gear, that person's items, or gold, or their ears, or whatever, man, you know? So there's no information on that yet, but as soon as I know, I'll let you know. Sweet. Okay, guys, drop rate for items. Okay, now, they said it's not going to be the Diablo 3 light show it is now on D4, okay? So it's not like you're going to go into a rift or whatever and just loads and loads of legendaries going to rain from the sky. I've said for many, many years, Diablo 3 drops way too much loot. Way too much loot. So they're actually having a much, much slower drop rate for loot in Diablo 4, which I really do like, because there's nothing worse than just getting everything straight away, you know? Because, you know, it's like that with Diablo 3 seasons right now. You know, you get everything so quickly. You might play maybe a week or so, and you're done, because you've got everything straight away. So the drop rate will be a lot slower, but all the bosses in the game have the much better chance to drop better loot. Okay, so if you want fat loot, you want to be killing those world bosses, those big monster bosses in the dungeons and stuff, and they have a much better chance to drop you hopefully a legendary item or whatever you're looking for. Okay, so bosses, guys, boss farming is back finally. You know, I love that. I absolutely love that. So I've been wanting boss farming for a long time. Don't get me wrong, man. You know, stuff's going to still drop from general monsters, but the more rarer stuff has a much better chance, man, to drop from that giant Tomb Guardian and all that cool stuff. Brilliant. Okay, guys, next is item affixes. Someone asked a question about item affixes and ranges and all that sort of stuff. So they do plan to make it so we can re-roll affixes on items in the future. They're not too sure how to do that yet. Right now we have an NPC in Diablo 3 called Miriam, where we re-roll our gear and all that sort of stuff, so that's pretty sweet. Item affixes ranges, guys, as usual. So you might find an amulet that ranges from, I don't know, 10 to 15 fire damage, extra fire damage or something like that sort of thing. So it's the usual sort of ranges. There'll be a minimum and maximum sort of thing. Again, they didn't go to specifics exactly what ranges are for each item yet, but I'm sure we'll find out in the future. Okay, guys, someone asked a question if seasons are confirmed in Diablo 4, and they are confirmed in Diablo 4. We will definitely have seasons as well, which is absolutely fantastic. And they've been planning like different events and all that sort of stuff for when we have seasons in Diablo 4. There will be new items, new skills, things happening in the world to change up the way we play. So that's going to be very, very fun. I can't wait to see that. And last one of these, guys, one big question was, will there be hardcore in Diablo 4? And there will be hardcore in Diablo 4, which is going to be nasty for PvP, guys. Very nasty for PvP. Hardcore PvP. Oh, God, it's going to be very, 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 very cool. And the last thing, guys, the Diablo team touched out on was, if you guys have got any feedback, send it to them via the forums on Diablo, okay? What you like, what you don't like, what you want to see changed, etc, etc, man. Right now, Diablo 4 is still in a very, very early stage, so it's now the perfect time to give them all that feedback to make the launch as great as possible, you know. That's probably why they released it early, you know. Diablo 3 launched in a pretty bad state, you know. A lot of legendary items didn't even have affixes. They were just like a stat stick, like, hey, this doesn't do anything, you know. So it's great that Diablo 4 has now been announced right now, you know, because that way, you know, it's already looking fantastic. There's loads of stuff in Diablo 4 that I've wanted in the game forever, and there's only a few things that I want in there now, you know. So there's only very few things, slightly bigger party sizes, stuff like that, you know. So yeah, send your feedback, you know, and that way we can help Blizzard launch Diablo 4 in an absolutely fantastic state. And there you go, guys. That is all the information I've got today. Sorry about if my throat was a bit croaky, man, but I've been non-stop talking all day today, man. It's been absolutely mad. It's been so much fun on Twitch, man, all that. And there you go, guys. That's all the information I've got today. Definitely expect some more videos very, very soon. The current season of Diablo 3 ends on the 10th of this month, and then the next season will probably be about a couple of weeks later after that. Talking of Diablo 3, guys, also the PTR Diablo 3 at BlizzCon, the Barbarian has received a bit of a nerf on the Lamentation belt, which makes it, I believe, around about 7 GRs lower. But don't worry, Barb will still be absolutely amazing. Monk and Crusader sets got a massive buff, so they'll perform extremely well. Monk set now has damage reduction on the suit, thank God. And yeah, Crusader got a massive damage bump on the Fist of the Heavens damage, and I believe it's 20,000% now. And I think the Monk set's gone up to 15%. But we'll probably see the PTR patch notes quite soon anyway. Okay, lovely. And there you go, guys. See all the information I got for today. Thank you very much for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Lovely. Subscribe for more content, guys, and take care. My God, it's so cool to finally have new Diablo content to talk about. Beautiful, man. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Subscribe for more.